This is Wendy Brano, and today I'm going to talk about value added tax, which we call VAT tax. In Ethiopia, the new value added tax is introduced this last month of Sane, and it's proclaimed as proclamation number 1341 20 so far gazetted. And I want to talk about the new issues, the new tax issues, VAT issues introduced in this proclamation number 1341 2024. So far, I didn't get any kind of very new contemporary tax issues, VAT issues introduced. Of course, there is one very contemporary issue, that is taxation of digital economy or digital transaction, which we call VAT taxation of digital transaction, which is even under study by international organizations like OECD. Though we have no clear precedent with regard to this taxation of digital economy internationally. Along with few countries, Ethiopia introduced a law that deals with this taxation of digital transaction. So one among the few new and fundamental introduction with the new Ethiopian VAT law is VAT taxation of digital transaction. The second, maybe the new, it was repealed by the proclamation 1157, but now introduced as a new concept was accounting period. Accounting period was 3 months for those who sell was below 70 million, but in the new law, for all kind of sales, any VAT registered and people with transactions that can be, that that is taxable should pay and declare their VAT every month. So accounting period for VAT pursuant to proclamation number 1341 2024 is per month. The other introduction was exemption. With regard to exemption, the new VAT proclamation limits exemption to the list introduced and indicated in the annex of proclamation number 1341 2024. In VAT, in the science of VAT's exemption, VAT can be introduced. The ideal VAT is a VAT with no exemption, but as you all know, pursuant to proclamation number 28594, a number of exemptions, dozens of exemptions were in place, and I think that was not ideal. That was not the right thing to do, and this proclamation limits the number of exemptions. So exemption is not as such part of the science of VAT, and the Ethiopian legislators exempted a very listed or a few particular products from VAT. And when it comes to rates, we have 0 rate, 1.5% or 1.6%, or we call it standard rates, and also reduced kind of rate like 7.6. In Ethiopian VAT law, same to prior laws, there is no change with regard to rate. The only rate is exemption, zero rate, and standard rate, which is 1.5%. So there is no major change. There is no change except in list of exemptions with this regard. Maybe there is some contestable issue. The proclamation cannot the proclamation cannot stipulate taxation of a single transaction, but the commentary by the Ministry of Revenue that was sent to the branches on with regard to application and introduction of new concept introduced in the VAT proclamation indicate that even single transactions that is above the threshold, which is 2 million in the new law, is going to be taxed, but it is against science of taxation, science of VAT taxation, because there need to be economic activity. If somebody is doing a business and in furtherance of doing that business, if a transaction is above 2 million, then we can tax this kind of transactions. But a single transaction, sometimes a single transactions or a single sale might be more than the price or the cost of the sale of this single product might be more than 2 millions. In this case, the science of VAT cannot allow to tax such kind of individuals, but in Ethiopia, it's known that the formal law, pursuant to the formal law, a single transaction can be, vatable. And now the stand of the Ministry of Revenue is that a single taxation of a single transaction is, taken as a given thing. But I don't think that the stand of the proclamation is, a different kind of perspective, because when I read the provision with regard to taxable activity, it cannot dictate that a single transaction can be taxable, and I think that might be the point of the point that individuals and Ministry of Revenue might be in fight in the near future, and maybe that will be decided by courts, I think. The other issue is, as I have tried to introduce, the threshold. The threshold was 1 million, and now the threshold was increased or raised to 2 million. And formally, we know that voluntary registration of VAT was based on the amount of transaction, the amount of vatable transaction we sell to non-registered person. But now, if an individual has a sale above 1 million and they are interested to register for VAT, they can do so pursuant to the new law. And maybe the other issue was, as I have tried, the issue of exemption was, the list of exemption was what mainly introduced in this proclamation. So in a nutshell, those are one of the among the few new introductions. But basically, whenever we talk about VAT introductions in VAT, there are very fundamental issues like exemption. The introduction with regard to electronic transaction and exemptions are very, very fundamental. But there are another issue such as place of supply. If the issue of taxation based on destination is not as such contestable, and the same thing is introduced, limiting, increasing the number of exemptions, and this kind of accounting period is not as such a big issue, as it is not gazetted so far. We cannot talk a lot of things at this stage, but as you might know, this law is sent to the Ministry of Revenue for enforcement, which is still very contestable, because as long as it is not gazetted by the Parliament, the mere fact that the Parliament approved by majority cannot mean that the law is in place. So these few issues might be contestable issues that might be solved in a court of law. So for today, what I have for you is this few issues. Thank you very much.